Hi, Robert. So now what I'm thinking is this is the information that I was thinking about here. You can see I've just used Firebug. If I refresh the browser, see the color is red here. If I refresh that, it'll go back to the black. Now what I'm thinking is you want to modify this, maybe have a different look and different color. And from what I can tell, yes, it should be possible because if I look here, if I sort of, here, let me do this. See the inspect element I have with Firebug? This is the tool I use to figure out where backgrounds are and all that sort of a thing. Okay, and I want to see where it's coming from. And it tells me that you have a styles.css. And if we look here, right, the styles.css, so in the include styles.css. All right, so in other words, and I actually have your site downloaded, I think. Downloading wasn't a problem. Getting in was a problem because I didn't have the right information, but you sent that over in the second ticket, and I have that. So I just want to... Okay, so here, right, in your site, you have an include folder, and you have a styles.cs, a styles right there. That is what you're going to be, that is what you can modify to modify the colors and whatnot. Now, how to do that, you would need some good CSS knowledge in order to do that, or maybe if you want, you can talk to Chris and we can, if you want us to do it, we can figure out a price or something like that. But in a nutshell, your style.css, you can change things like the background color. Let's say you wanted a different background color. We'll just go with a white color for now. All right, I'm just going to use Firebug to modify the color. You see, you can change that. So because you have a style.css that controls the style of this particular display here, then you can do all sorts of things and change all sorts of, however, whatever you want it to be. You can change the font characteristics, basically anything that's a color or a font in here, you could probably change, just so you know. So is it possible? Yes. To what degree you might be comfortable doing that yourself, I don't know, but that's where you would have to go in. You'd have to modify it. And I suggest you use a tool like, if you want to do it yourself, give it a try. I mean, it's what I use is this. I use Firefox, and I use an extension called Firebug. Okay. If you haven't used Firebug and Firefox, you're missing out because it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You can go download it and install it. And what it does is, when you're on a page and you want to change this particular piece of text to a different color, a different size, you can just select the text, right-click, inspect element with Firebug. This little panel pulls up and tells you right here exactly where, like this one here, style.css, there's the color right there, white, there's the font family, there's the font size. So I could just, to test things out, I can change the font size in Firebug and it changes it in the page. You see that? I can change the color. I can, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can change it to red to see what that looks like, or blue to see what it looks like, right? So it's kind of a cool tool just so you can test things out and see if you like it or not. The same with and then you can use something really cool is you can sort of use this little section over here to go through the actual lists or parts of the blocks and whatnot. Like for example, see this here? I've selected the whole block and I can see what I'm selecting, and over here is the style that controls it, right? And there's the color. If I hover over it, it shows me the color. So if I want to change that to blue, right, to see, no, you can't change it, but you have to use an actual color. I'll change it to a gray for now. So we'll do a CCC, and you see how it changes it to light gray, or 333 changes it to a very dark gray. So you can start to play around with colors and whatnot when you know what you're doing. But you do have to have a bit of a grasp on CSS in order to make these changes. But yes, you wanted to know if is it possible? Yes, it is.